What did you want to be when you grew up? A fireman, a lawyer, an astronaut, or how about a necromancer? Hello and welcome to the Friday Fantasy Show from the Bottled Imp, exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyd, and today we are taking a look at the set collecting card game Cadaver, and it's designed by Kendrick Winks. Now, I actually had the pleasure of meeting Kendrick when I visited Dragon Meet a couple of weeks ago. Can't even speak. It's a convention. It's a tabletop gaming convention, and I was taking a wandering eye around, and lo and behold, my eye was drawn to his stand. He had a few other games going on as well. He very kindly said, I said I'm the Bottled Imp, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yeah, cool, review this if you like. Stick that in your pipe, show and smoke it, review it. So I did, and I am. So let's roll up our sleeves, dig into the corpses, and then get messy. Cadaver. What's it all about? Well, I'm going to tell you. Here we are. As you can see, this is a card game. The setup is basically you are trying to reanimate corpses. I love that theme. It's a great theme. You are necromancers and you've decided that you want to reanimate corpses, I guess, for your own bidding. And I'll just go through what's in the box. It basically consists of a very precise and concise rule explanation sheet, and it also contains cards. Now I can't remember how many cards there are, but there are quite a few, as you can see. Here's the deck of cards, and I'm just going to go through what cards mean, what they actually do. So we have here, well, let's start with the easiest ones. We've got the corpse cards, and there are 4 different kinds. This one is the Abomination corpse, and there's only one of those in the deck, and that gets you an extra 3 points at the end. Because the aim of the game is you'll be scoring points by reanimating corpses, and then you'll get different points for different things that you do in the game, and we'll go through the scoring at the end. So basically, those are the corpses. Then we have these special cards here, and this one is a coffin card that actually, if you lay on someone else's card, it blocks them from doing anything with that, so they can't lay other cards on top of it, apart from the key card. A key card will unlock a coffin card, and you then just discard both of them, and that gets that unblocked card back in the game. Then we have the Ghoul card. Now the Ghoul card lets you nick an opponent's card, and this is a 2-player game or a 3-player game if you have one deck. If you've got 2 decks, then you can play up to 6 players, so that's pretty cool. Then we have this other special card, which is an amulet, and that does 2 things. It can count as any resource. It's like a wild card, a joker card, a wild card, where you can actually have any resource. So you can say that is a brain, or that's a scroll, or that's a bottle, a potion, and that actually then becomes that. So it's a wild card. Plus, the other thing that it does is it actually prevents the ghoul from thieving, from stealing your other card that they want to nick, or a card that they want to nick. So again, that's a key card, not a key card, but that's quite crucial if you want to prevent people from nicking. Plus, it also, as I say, is a wild card. Then we have the necromancers, if you like. I don't know if they've actually got names or anything. I think they have, or I've nicknamed that sort of Gandalf-y type wizard. This one is Mad Scientist Scienty Face. And this one is Witch Doctor. I don't mean witch doctor as in witch doctor, but I mean as in a witch doctor. Anyway, you get You know what I mean. Anyway, so here we go. So we got those 3 necromancers. And then we have the 3 resources. So that's a scroll. This one is the green bottle. I guess it's a potion. And this one is a brain. And you simply, to reanimate a corpse, you will simply need to match what it has down the side here. So for example, this one is 2 scrolls and a bottle. And that's basically how you reanimate the corpse. And the way you get the resources is you can only get them if you have one or all of these necromancers on your side, and we'll get into that when we go through the gameplay. And that's how you actually get the resources. So what's the setup? The setup is pretty easy. You will take your deck of cards, all of them, and you will shuffle them up, but before you do so you will be taking 2 resources of each type of resource and put them in a row like this between the players. Then with the rest of the cards you simply shuffle them, and then you deal each player 5 cards. So let's do that. That's 4, 5, 5. Then what you do is you will have that as the deck, and there will be a discard pile as well. You take your cards. Now these are secret, only you know what they are. But for this purposes I will show you what I've got. I have a ghoul. I have one of the necromancers. Oh, I've got another one. Hey! And I have a corpse, and I also have a resource. So what I do on a player's turn, actually I like this little touch. It does say the first player is the player that's closest to death. Hey, not sure how you actually work that out, but hey, that's what it says. So if you're the closest player to death, then you'll be going first. And on your go, you can do you'll be doing 3 things, but you do them in this order. You'll be laying up to 2 cards. So from my hand, I'll decide what I want to do. Now I might want to lay a corpse, because that means that I then can lay resources on it to then reanimate that corpse and then get the points, and they will score at the end of the game. So I might want to lay a corpse and then lay a bottle onto it, and that just stays in front of me because I still need a bottle and a brain. Then what you do is you will then draw back up to your 5 cards. Now because I haven't got a necromancer, I can't take one of the resources just yet. When I say I haven't got one, yes, they're still in my hand. In order to actually take a resource, you need to place them in front of you as you'll go. So I draw back up from the deck. 1, 2, and again these are secret, but I'll show you what I got. I picked a brain and another corpse. Then what I will do is, that is the end of my go. I will then say it's your go to the other person. They will do the same, and then it will be back to me. So for this turn, I think what I'm going to do is lay my necromancer and my witch doctor. Witch doctor? The witch doctor. And therefore, on my next go, actually now I can then draw from these 2 decks, because I have the correct necromancers. So because I need a brain, I'll get a brain, and I will get a bottle, because I'm planning ahead. Hey, who'd have thought? Then that is the end of my go. It's then the next person's go, and then it'll be back to me. Now obviously, because I do have the ghoul, remember that can steal other cards. Now my other opponent may have played a card that I would like, so I could actually say, right, I'm stealing one of your cards that's already been laid. So then what I would do is I would discard that, and I would then take whatever card it was, and if it's a corpse, you put it just on your side. And when you take the corpse, you will be taking all the other goods, or the resources that are on it as well. If it is there anything that goes into your hand? I'm not sure, I can't remember, but most of it stays on the table. Oh yes, it actually does, yeah. It'll only stay on the table because the necromancer will actually just stay on the table as well. So let's say I did that, and then I would have got one of his cards. And then what I want to do is I will lay the bottle. Now obviously I could have laid the bottle and the brain to reanimate the corpse, but I wanted to steal that card, you know, if it was a particularly good card. And then I would do exactly the same. Now I might say, Well, I do have another corpse, so now I'm going to be planning ahead again. So I need 2 scrolls, so I'll take the 2 scrolls. And as you can see, this pile has gone now, so if my opponent didn't have the scroll necromancer, they would be difficult for them to get the scrolls. But of course there are scrolls and all the other types of resources that are in the deck as well. So I've got back up to my 5 cards. And then it'll be there you go. And then whatever they do, and then it'll be my go. Now I'll show you just quickly how we reanimate a corpse. So I've got the 2 bottles, all I need then is a brain. So I simply put that down, and then I will take the other resources and I'll turn that way. I normally put it to the side, and that is reanimated, and that will then be scored at the end of the game. And you take the resources and you put them in their correct piles. And that's how the resources get back in. So obviously, I've only laid 1 card there. Then I might lay another corpse, because then I can get that one going. So that's 2 cards. And then I might just decide to pick 2 from here. If, for example, so you do that back and forth. So I'll just show you though, for example, again, if I had laid the 2 scrolls and I'd picked up a bottle and I'd laid this, or I'd got a bottle from there, then I can actually reanimate that one. I'm just going to show you that again the scrolls go back to there and that bottle would go back there. Obviously I would have either had to get a bottle from the resource card or get the mad scientist, where is he? Get the mad scientist into my hand in order to play it, or I could have stolen that from the other player. Now I believe there's only 2 necromancers each of each type in the deck, so the necromancers are quite valuable in order for you to keep getting resources, and that is pretty much how you play it. With the scoring, basically, it says it here in a little chart at the back on the rules. It says here a set of 3 different corpses is worth 7 points, a set of 3 of the same corpses is worth 5 points. The Abomination card, remember that one that was slightly weird, it had a horn, it was kind of all made up of different parts, that is worth 3 points. And an individual corpse is worth 1 point. What do I think? I absolutely loved this game. It was really, really good fun. It was quick to play. The instructions are really well done. And the fun that you get, because you're obviously trying to reanimate as many corpses as you can, you just think, right, what do I need to do? And there's enough balance between randomness, obviously you don't know what you're going to get there. There's enough balance between that and actually forming strategy, because when you get the ghoul cards, then you obviously can steal and go, right, well, I don't need to get that, I can just nick that off him. And where the fun comes in is obviously the necromancers. What you can do is obviously you could nick their necromancer, so you might have the only 2 of these, or the only 2 mad scientists or the witch doctors, and then they won't be able to get any resources unless it comes up here. So that then they're leaving it to chance whether or not they get it. So I love that fact. There's enough going on where you have to go, right, I'm building my own little reanimating corpse empire here. Plus, but I still want to sort of take that and screw them over a little bit. So obviously if you lay a coffin, so if I was to lay a coffin, for example, let's quickly go through it. Where's the coffin? I don't know how many there are. There obviously aren't that many. Oh, there's a coffin. So yeah, so if my opponent, he or she, was to lay a coffin on that, then I wouldn't be able to get any scrolls from my necromancer. Equally, if they block a corpse, you can't lay any more resources on it to actually then animate it unless you have a key to unlock it and you put them both in the discard pile. So there's a brilliant bit of back and forth, a bit of, I just screw you over a little bit, not majorly, but enough to really slow you down. And of course it's, when you get one of these, when you get the actual necromancer, that's like a bit of joy, because like, oh wow, I've got one, that's brilliant. Hopefully I can get the other one as well to screw them over. Really love this. It's a brilliant game. It's very quick to learn, very easy to play. I've not played it with 3 players, which would be really good fun, I'm sure. I'm sure it works with 3 players. And it'd be great actually to play it with up to 6 players. You just get another pack apparently and mix them all in. I'm sure it works brilliantly with 6 players as well. I can't really see why there would be any problems. And I just want to point out the artwork. The artwork is absolutely gorgeous. I really, really love this style. It's just so full of character and little humour on it. It's brilliant. I really love it. Everything seems to work perfectly in this. We didn't break it. There was no loopholes. There wasn't any problems with the rules or anything like that. And the quality of the cards is beautiful, really nice kind of thick cards. Totally recommend this game. It's really good. It's the sort of game that you want to play again and again. We played like 5 or 6, maybe 7 games in a row. Really quick to play, really quick to learn. Great filler, great kind of, you know, or let's just start off with this. If you're doing a massive board game session, this would fit in perfectly. And I think it's a sort of theme, although it's quite macabre, they've done it in a way that's quite fun, if that makes sense. You know, it's not too, you know, horrible done. The artwork is just right. It's perfectly well designed and balanced. And that is, I can never pronounce it, Cavida. No, hang on, Abracadabra, Cadaver, that's it, Cadaver. Cadaver. I think that's how you pronounce it. No, it is. It obviously means corpse, doesn't it? Yes, there was one other thing I forgot to mention. You can actually trade when it's on your go. So you can trade with other players. 1 card for 1, I believe. I don't know if there's any more cards you can trade. You have to check that out in the rules. But you can trade. What we found is we didn't really trade, though, because you were quite happy. I think we traded once. But yeah, that's just a little extra rule to give it a little bit more variation. That's Cadaver. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Recommend that you try to reanimate corpses if you can. Remember, keep it unreal, especially if you're a necromancer. It's Cadaver. No, hang on, I got it.
Cadaver.
No.
Cadaver.
Hang on, it's like, hang on, Abracadabra. So it's
Cadaver.
Cadaver.